Hey, what's up, guys? We are back with another success story. I am here with Adrian. He's been absolutely crushing it, him and his team. So today we're going to talk about the success and let's get right into it. Adrian, go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and the deals you've been working on.
Well, let's see. I first looked into purchasing properties at tax deed auction, but I retired a couple of years ago. Seemed kind of risky to me. Wasn't willing to, uh, dip into my retirement savings. So then I found your course, and that seemed like a whole lot better fit for me. And we've been doing this since about July.
Since July. Okay. So when you first started in July, how long did it take you to get your first client under contract?
Let's see, probably I'd say sometime in September,
Okay.
I think it was. I am using the XS Elite CRM. Took me a little while to feel comfortable with that. I'm not a software person, so it took me a little while to get that working the way I wanted to. And even now, I probably know probably 10% of its capabilities, and I'm probably being generous with that 10% number.
Yeah, it's definitely a powerful tool, but the fact that you've been closing deals with it with only 10% knowledge definitely speaks volume to that. You told me that you have a team working on this. So how is your team structured? Do you have somebody doing research, somebody making calls? How does that work?
Well, I do all the calls because my first language is English.
Hmm.
And I mentioned to you I am in Ecuador. So I have Fernando, who is uh, he's from Spain, but he's married to an Ecuadorian young lady. And they just had their first child,
Oh,
by the way.
congratulations.
She's
Nice.
only yet about a month and a half old.
Okay.
So he's a very intelligent guy. He took on the CRM. He took on the skip tracing. He does all that stuff. He's put together the what they call the tags,
Hmm.
okay, in the CRM. He's kind of managing all that. And the social media portion, the website, that was all done by his wife, Sarah.
Nice.
And then my girlfriend, she does some going to the Florida county websites, scraping the data there to be put into a spreadsheet to be batch skip traced.
Mhm.
And there's Laura. Uh, she acts as an interpreter, so her English is darn good. So
Mhm.
she does help me with some calls, but she's more involved with uh, the scraping of the data off of the county websites. But the calls come on me. I have a background of 22 years in real estate before I retired a few years ago. So I know people, I'm comfortable with people, I know what it takes to close someone, I know when to back off, I know how to handle objections, which of course we're going to run into. So that's basically how it's structured right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. So that's awesome. So you guys started in July, you got your first contract in September. On that claim, let's talk about that one. How much was the surplus deal? And then how long did it take for you to receive your first check?
Well, as you know, in Florida, they've got their 120-day waiting period.
Mhm.
And I think that deal, the auction happened, I think it was in July 10th, if I'm not mistaken. And there did happen to be four owners of that property. I didn't know how I was going to make that work. I was trying to track down all four owners. One of them was very easy. And we were able to track down no, a total of three of the four. One had passed away. I found out through your course that you can submit uh, for a portion of it, representing those three individuals. We didn't ask for the entire thing. We asked for 75%, 25% each.
Mhm.
And we were successful in that. Got that check, I guess it was about maybe 2 weeks ago. And we
Awesome.
distributed the funds, and everybody's happy.
Nice. So how much was that deal?
I think the total was a little over 16,000.
Okay. And you're all the way in Ecuador. So did they mail you the check or did an attorney receive it? How did you work that out?
Actually, it went to my iPostal One. I have a virtual mailbox with them. And I think the for an extra like $19, they deposited the check for me. So I took advantage of that. And
That's
then, of course, the rest of the banking is just done online. I'm with Chase.
Yeah, exactly. Just go ahead and send the funds to the client. So, how did your clients feel when you got them that money?
They felt pretty good. They felt real good. I mentioned there were four owners. What happened was one of the four, as I mentioned, passed away. And so the other three started paying their portion in the real estate tax. It was a tax deed case, by the way, if I didn't mention that. And after a while, they just got tired of paying that other person's portion because the person who passed away, their heirs weren't willing to pay for it. So
Yeah.
they just stopped paying the real estate taxes, and we all know what happens after that.
Yeah. Did they have any idea about the surplus when you contacted them?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Most of the people we contact, as you're probably well aware, when you're called or you receive an email or you receive an SMS text message saying, hey, we found some money that you're owed
Yeah.
and we're here to help. I won't go so far as think they're thinking it's a scam, but it is a bit suspicious.
Mhm.
So we calm their fears about that. We provide proof, which is, something you promote, and I'm all for. And after that, they're just like, okay, what do we got to do? And we send them the agreement through Rabbit Sign. That particular one, that was a bit of a pain. We didn't have Rabbit Sign at the time. We sent them, I think I emailed them the agreement. They had to, of course, review it. They had to print it out. They
Yeah.
had to sign it. They had to scan it. They
And
had
it's
to
the
email it back. It was a nightmare. So after that, I found out about Rabbit Sign,
yeah,
and ever since then, it's so easy.
exactly. It increases your close rate. So that's awesome that you guys finalized that one. How many other deals are you currently working on?
Think we have another 9 signed up with the agreement.
Awesome. And for your marketing, I know you're using Excess Elite. Do you do any cold calls as well, or do you just wait for inbound responses?
Well, most of it is I'm waiting for inbound responses,
Mhm.
but if I think the deal is worth pursuing, then I will cold call them.
Yeah.
And as you know, you run into almost everything. The skip tracing is not 100% accurate. Sometimes they'll deny having any knowledge of it. And then after you cozy up to them a little bit and explain what's going on, oh, that's my cousin, after denying having any knowledge or any relation. So there is a little bit of schmoozing going on in the
Yeah.
beginning there to earn their trust and just make them feel like it's real. But I have no problem with cold calling. I mean, what's driving me, number one, I don't want the state of Florida to keep that money.
Mhm.
I really, really don't. And that's what I emphasize to people. And I think that's why they trust me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you definitely have a trustworthy professional voice. So when you do get somebody on the phone, I'm pretty sure you have a very high close rate. So when you guys are using Excess Elite, talk about your experience with that. I know you mentioned that you have the app. So when you're out doing your daily activities in Ecuador, living life, you just kind of check and see when clients respond to you.
Exactly. And one thing I like is I have the app on my phone. If I'm out and about, in fact, that very first deal I told you about, I think we were shopping for some things for the house, and I got a call. If it comes into our phone number in Excess Elite, it forwards to my phone, and I answered, and I had all the information right there. Not the, of course, the full capabilities of XS Elite, but enough to get me through the conversation.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that person happened to be from Puerto Rico.
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah. And I just love that. Every single call, I stopped publishing my personal cell phone number.
Yeah.
I just published the business phone number. We just have one right now. And all calls or go through the CRM, inbound and outbound, because it does record the calls, which I have found to be extremely helpful at times.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go back and review, and then you guys get to focus on who's interested. So, what are some words of advice that you can give to anybody that is just starting out in this industry?
That's a great question. Don't be too hard on yourself. Just people don't want to think that you're doing, even though we are compensated and justifiably so, you certainly cannot make it about you. It has to be about the customer. And I truly believe that's what it's all about. Um, get the CRM. I love the fact that we're probably on average sending out 150, 200 SMS text messages per day. And it's a complete game changer when someone responds to that text message. Uh, hey, I'd like more information, or how'd you get my name? Whatever it is, they're taking a positive step and reaching out to us, which, as far as I'm concerned, is the equivalent of opening the door, and then you have a conversation with them. And then it's like the equivalent of, hey, come on in, let's talk about this.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are great words of advice. Don't be too hard on yourself. Make the customer number one and utilize the CRM. That's amazing. Well, thank you so much, Adrian, for sharing your success. Everybody that is tuning in definitely appreciates it. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate what you do too, because you've made yourself accessible to me. The course is great, the support is great, and I don't think I would be able to do this without you. I really don't. So thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.